I am in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm working on Rineer today. I've worked on him quite a few times. He's a dressage horse. Super sweet guy, usually right in my hip pocket, and he really loves his adjustments. So owner doesn't have any complaints today, no concerns, just a nice maintenance appointment for him. And I see him about every 8 weeks or so, give or take a week, depending on scheduling. So I think this is probably the 6th or 7th time that I've worked on him. Usually has really nice releases in his shoulders and in his hips. But he does really well. Usually stands super quiet and seems to really like getting adjusted. Boy. When I first started working on him, he did not enjoy the process, but he had never been adjusted before, so it just took him a little bit of time to get used to it and obviously get used to me. But now he does really well. Once in a while you'll see him move around like this, but he's not fighting me like he was the first couple of times. And right now he feels a little rotated in his pelvis, especially on the right side. So he's rotated in the SI joint on the right, and he's rotated what we call PI, so that side of the pelvis is rotated up and back. If you think about the pelvis doing this, when that right side goes up and back, that means that right leg is coming forward. So what happens is when you have a horse that's standing square with his feet together, but the pelvis is up and back, that means the pelvis is actually positioned like that leg is already coming forward, which means when he tries to bring that leg forward, he's going to be a little bit short. So you got to balance out the pelvis with the feet square so that when he does go to bring that leg forward, he's got full range of motion. Hey JS, thank you. Thanks for watching, I appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions or comments, let me step him over a little bit while I'm working. Feel free to type those out. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. So with his right side SI joint being stuck in flexion like that, that puts his left side SI joint in the other direction because the pelvis moves opposite side to side. So if this side's stuck in flexion, like that leg's coming forward, then that means the other side's stuck in extension, like that leg is going back behind. So even though we have a high side in the pelvis, I'm still going to adjust the other side of the pelvis the other direction to make sure that I balance out the SI joints on either side. Hi Karen, to contact us, just go to my website. You can go to my contact page on my website and you can send us a message there, or you can also go to the website and you can find our office number there on that same contact page, and you can either text or call that number and my assistant will get back to you. Sorry that you didn't hear back. Let's see, so I'm going to flex his pelvis here and just see how he wants to move. Oh, there we go. That's a good boy. So even though he is restricted back here, he flexed for me pretty nicely. So also when I have a SI joint stuck like this, I typically tend to adjust the side that's stuck in extension first. So I like to adjust the low side first and then go to the high side. I have just found that over the years, usually the side that, good boy. Usually the side that's stuck is the side that's stuck in extension, not the side that's stuck in flexion. And what that means is usually the low side is the problem, not the high side. So if I adjust that low side, I can go back to the high side and check it. And a lot of times that side's already much looser. So I will do the low side first 99% of the time. Unless, if the client is complaining about some movement issue that indicates that it's more likely the right side, you know, that's what I'll normally do, is adjust the low side. Whoa, adjust the low side first. Ooh, had a little trip there. Come on. I'm back. It's getting warm with that sun coming out. Good boy. Good boy. Awesome. Yeah, see, so that already feels a lot better just by adjusting that low side. So I'm going to extend the pelvis. That's really good. And then I'm going to check inflection one more time. Oh, good. A little release there too. And that's really, really easy. So that's perfect. I will usually start working on the pelvis first. I like to start with the hind end and then work my way forward, just because I feel like it relaxes them quite a bit. And then by the time I get up to the neck, you know, they're already used to me pushing and prodding them and moving them around and hitting these pressure points. But if I just went straight to the neck, I think I would get a lot more resistance. So I like to start back here. Also, there's a neurological reason for that. Oh, that dog is annoying. If I start back here, because not all, but a lot of the parasympathetic ganglion, which a ganglion is just a bundle of nerve cell bodies. There's a bunch of ganglion back here that control the parasympathetics, which is the rest and digest part of the nervous system. There we go. And if you excite those ganglion, it causes them to go into that rest and digest relaxation mode. So neurologically, it helps them to relax too, not just because it feels good that I'm rubbing and pushing on their muscles. There we go. That's a good boy. All right. So next thing I like to do is check the mid-back, thoracic spine, and flexion, and see if he'll lift his back nice and easy for me. That's really nice. And that helps me just, oh my gosh. That just helps me determine if he's comfortable flexing and collecting. And also, if I push on the sternum and he reacts like it hurts, then that's an indication that he might have some ulcers too. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that dog, you guys. That is annoying. Awesome. And if there's no pain or discomfort up in the wither and he can flex nice and comfortably, then I just move on to the next thing. So I'm going to check him in rotation in the neck, and I want to see if he can come around and touch my hand at his shoulder. So let's see here. Oh. All right, so we got some fuss there, obviously. So he does not want to rotate comfortably to the right. Man. All right, let's try that again. Oh yeah, see, he's rearing up. So something's going on that side. And that can be neck, it could be shoulder, it could be wither. But I'm gonna check him to the left because I always want to compare how he moves from side to side. So let's see how he moves to the left. Oh. Oh. Easy. And this is new because he normally does not fight those pressure points. But if they do fight them like this, then I'm gonna ask him to manually rotate to the shoulder. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit of pressure. Move him over so you can see it a little bit. Come on, over. Good boy. And I just wanna see if he can, with me doing this, I wanna see if he can come around and bring his head all the way over to the shoulder. Let's see. If he can rotate like this, then I can figure out if he just isn't liking the pressure points or if there's actually a situation going on here. Yeah. So he does not My goodness. So he does not want to rotate. Come on. It's being kind of a pill today compared to how he normally is. Back. All right, so I'm going to adjust the side of his pole, and then I'll recheck him because he's not really wanting to come around to the side. See if I've got something else going on down lower here. Let's see, that feels stuck right down here. This is his C6, sixth cervical vertebrae. Let's see. Oh, there it goes right there too. Perfect. So I'll give him that for a second. And these guys just performed at a show last weekend, so he could just be sore from standing on concrete for a weekend and being used a lot. So that was there we go, big deep breath there. So that was an adjustment of C6 on the left in rotation. Awesome. So, and I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I wanna see if I can feel any restrictions going on in his upper neck on this side. If I'm checking him like this, right there, I'm just checking his pole in lateral flexion. So lateral flexion for us would be bringing our ear to our shoulders like this. Lateral flexion for them, since they're down here, is ear to the shoulder like that. So that motion occurs up here at C1 occiput, which is base of the skull and their first vertebrae. And he's comfortable up there going both directions. So it's definitely not a pull issue. And even when I hit those pressure points, he starts to come around and he just starts pulling away before he gets to 90 degrees. So I know it's somewhere up in the upper neck. At least that's where the discomfort is. And he's an older horse, and I can definitely feel some arthritis in his neck. So I'll pass it on to his owner too, see if the vet can evaluate. But I'm just gonna bring him around, see if he can come all the way around. There's a little release there. And then I'm gonna do it again. So I really want him to come all the way around and touch his shoulder if he can, but he stiffens up right there. And if he's about 75% around to the side, then then I'm going to address the area about 75% down the neck, which is where I'm going to run into about C5, C6. Oh, there we go. So a really nice release there too. So if he can go about 90 degrees around to the side, then I know he's good from first cervical down to C4, because C4 is halfway down the neck. If he stops at halfway, then I know I'm looking at C4, C5, maybe C3, C4. But if he can go past 90 degrees, then I know he's good through C4, and then I'm looking C5, C6, or C6, C7. So I love the pressure points because I can use those to determine where the issue is in the neck based on how far he wants to rotate with those pressure points. There's a good boy. There's a good boy. That's a good boy. They always seem to like the beard. Oh, buddy. That's a good boy. He's a sweet guy. All right, so let's check the pole. And everybody always wants to see a recheck, you know? So if I find that he's stiff going around to the right, then I adjust it. You know, they want to see the before and after, so they want to see me recheck. But, you know, if you've ever been adjusted, you have pain and inflammation and your back is sore or your neck is sore or wherever, then you get adjusted and the pain doesn't magically go away, right? It takes a day or so because the body still has to get that inflammation out of there in order for you to feel well enough to move like you want to move without that pain. So you get adjusted and you're still sore, but then you wake up the next day and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. And that's the same thing with these guys. Most of the time, you're not going to get a huge change right after the adjustment because they're still sore. But if you check them or ride them the next day, you'll see that they have a lot better movement. See, he still wants to get out of dodge, but we had 2 really nice releases in the neck. So, and the other thing too you have to think about is, you know, when horses are sore and you're competing on them, you know, they still want to compete and they have to compensate and they have to use their bodies in ways that's unnatural because they're trying to get away from that pain, which causes them to be sore in other areas because they're overstressing areas of the body that they are not normally stressing. So we have to clear out the cause so they don't have to compensate, and the body has to have time to get that inflammation out of there in order for them to start moving better and feeling better. So the adjustment's just the first part of that healing process. But you most of the time will not see huge improvements immediately after the adjustment, just because, you know, that pain is still there, the inflammation's still there, the horse is still expecting it to hurt because it's been hurting, right? So they need to be able to get out and move, get that inflammation out, realize it's not going to hurt, and then they'll start moving properly. So this is just extension of his pole. And what I want here is for him to come down on my shoulder and not pull back on me. So he's doing really good right there, but I can feel he starts to pull back a little bit, like right there, and I have to lighten up my pressure. But I want to walk him down a little bit and get him to the point where I can adjust it like I just did right there. All this grass stuck in the side of his lip. There we go. I love to see the lick and chews, the yawning, the softening of the eyes and face, deep breaths, dropping of the head, all that stuff. Just, I like to give him that relaxation with the adjustments. And you know, you give them time to process and feel good, and then you really start building that rapport. Good boy. Good boy. He's the freaking sweetest horse. So if you guys have any questions about anything, please let me know. If you have questions about your own horses or anything I'm doing, if you're interested in animal chiropractic, anything like that, I'm super happy to help. This is my last week here in Arizona for a little bit. I'm leaving on the 6th to go to Dubai for 3 weeks to work on a bunch of endurance horses and polo horses. Got invited out there by someone who does those 100-mile endurance races, so I'm super excited about that. And I'll be posting a bunch of content over there and definitely going to be doing some lives. So keep an eye out for that. Should be pretty awesome. I've never been over there, so if any of you guys have been there and have any tips or, you know, recommendations on things to do and places to visit, I would love to hear it. My buddy. Oh, there we go. Always very important to stretch them out before they perform. Someone asked me the other day, they said, you know, people always recommend me stretching out my horse after I compete. And why is that so important? Well, you know, it's not as important to stretch your horse after they compete as it is before they compete, right? Because you want to get their muscles nice and loose, get them nice and warmed up. Stretching has physical and neurological benefits, but you definitely don't want to stretch your horse when they're cold. So you want to pop them in the round pen, put them on a lead rope, or sorry, not a lead rope, a lunge line, get them a little warmed up, break a little bit of a sweat, and then stretch them out. It just makes a huge difference for the horse's performance and overall comfort, and really does a fantastic job at preventing injury, just like it does for human athletes. But we sometimes forget that these guys are athletes too, and they need the same type of care. So as you can see, his legs are super flexible. He's not fussing with any of this. Looks really comfortable for him. So that stiffness in the neck coming around to the sides is definitely in the neck, not in the shoulders. This is just too easy. If it wasn't this easy, then I might think, okay, maybe we have a lower neck or shoulder issue going on. but this is perfect, so nothing to worry about in the front legs. Oh, there you go. Nice release in that fetlock there and flexion. What happened to her? What happened to this horse? Is that what you're asking? If so, nothing happened. This is a gelding, it's a him. And he just gets maintenance adjustments, you know? Just like human athletes, they get maintained, so do equine athletes. So he gets he gets adjustments about every 8 weeks just to keep him feeling good and moving good. He's a little bit of an older horse that's still competing, so the owner wants to maintain him and take really good care of him. And he is a phenomenal horse. I mean, he definitely deserves his TLC and his maintenance. Oh, there we go. And that was a really nice release in that hip. And he usually has nice releases in his legs. His name is Rineer. Kind of like Mount Rainier. He's a good boy. I really enjoy working on this guy. Just such a nice horse, so easy to work on. Woo. Beautiful release in that hip right there. I'm always surprised that when I get big pops like that they don't kick out just as a reaction, you know? Not to be nasty, but just because I would think it would startle them every time. So yeah, that was really nice. All right, so Rineer, I'm gonna stretch his jaw out, get his TMJ nice and loose, and then I'm gonna move over and adjust one more horse. Oh, easy. The next horse belongs to the owner of this place. This is called Central Arizona Riding Academy. And they do a lot of dressage training and clinics, and they put on horse shows in the local area. Oh, hey. I know. A lot of times these guys are fussy with the mouth because they think you're gonna put some medicine in there, and you know, obviously they don't like the taste. So, but once they realize you're not gonna do that, they chill out. That's a good boy. And this is a really good stretch for TMJ, for the pole. If you want to learn how to do some of these stretches that I've been doing today, just go to my website, sporthorsechiropractic.com. And there's a link to my equine stretching course at the very top of the page. And I have stretching tutorials where I do step-by-step video tutorials on how to stretch your horses, manual stretches, pressure point stretches. There we go, that head drop is beautiful. All those types of things. So he's all done. Take his halter off, and I'm gonna move over to the next horse. If you guys have any questions while I'm moving over there, or comments, let me know. Love all your questions and comments. Let's see, let me back him up. Here, buddy. Back up, good boy. All right. Give you guys a little tour of the facility where I'm at here. So they have a couple of barns. This is one of them. It's a really nice place here to keep it nice and clean, and it's fairly new. Really nice people here too. All right, got him all locked up there. All right. So let's go down, get this other guy started. Thank you guys for liking the video. Appreciate that. Let's see. All right. So this is Corby. That's his name right there. This is Corby. And this guy is an escape artist, so they have his stall all chained up so he can't break out. There we go. So Corby is also super friendly. Hi, buddy. And he's an ex-FEI dressage horse, which means he was world class at one point. And now he's used for a lot of lessons, and the owner still competes on him. Goodness gracious, those dogs are annoying. I could not handle that. All right. Oh, okay, perfect, Karen. I hope that helped. If you have any other questions, please let me know. I've had really good reviews on the stretching course. You get him haltered up here. Good boy. Ugh. There we go. All right. All right. We're gonna make a little adjustment here. We're gonna go inside for this one, because those dogs are just annoying. Hey, buddy, come on. We're gonna go in here. It's not much better, but hopefully it's a little better at least. There we go. All right, I'll back him up a little bit. All right, buddy. Good boy. All right, so this is Corby. Ugh. He got me all slobbery. And this guy's in his 20s. Super cool horse, really nice personality. Also does really, really well with his adjustments. Ooh, now we got a tractor going. It's a loud day in here today. And again, I like to start from the back and move my way forward. And right now I'm just kind of doing some big sweeps down his back, just checking to see if there's any discomfort, if he throws his head up, pins his ears, brings his head around, has any flinching. Just an overall scan of the system. And he's licking his lips there, so he's obviously not too concerned. So I'm gonna flex him a little bit. So this is lateral flexion, or a lot of people will just call it lateral bending. And I just want to see if he can comfortably bring his butt towards me. Good boy. And then I always check both sides. So I want to see if it feels the same as the other side. And I just start with little movements first. Good boy. And then you can feel him as I'm doing this start to relax and allow me to do bigger and bigger oscillations back here. But if I just jumped right in and started doing these big, huge oscillations, he's gonna walk away from me because he just, number one, doesn't know what I'm doing, and number two, he'd have a hard time keeping his balance. So everything is nice and slow and deliberate, except for the adjustment, which obviously I have to kind of sneak up on them to do the adjustment, because it has to be done quickly. But I want this to be as comfortable and enjoyable for them as possible, so that the next time I come back, they're much more relaxed and more willing to let me get in here and help them. But I've worked on Corby about the same amount of time as I've worked on Rineer, that last horse. So he's used to it by now. And he's really great to work on. He also has lots of releases in his legs each time. And he has some swelling in his fetlocks, especially the back fetlock. So he's what we call stocked up back there. Oh. So when they're stocked up like that, they can be a little sore. So when I laterally flex their pelvis, A lot of times they'll resist it because I'm forcing him to shift his weight all the way to one side and put all his weight on those fetlocks, and that can sometimes cause him some pain. Hey, buddy. Yeah, you're a good boy. He's a good boy. Yeah, you're a goofy boy too, huh? Good boy. All right. So I'm going to flex his pelvis, try to bring his back up. See how he does with this one. It normally does just fine. Yep. Good boy. And I'm checking his movement to see how high he comes up, but also checking for pain, right? If I'm flexing his pelvis and he shows me pain at the beginning of the motion, then I'm looking at most likely sore SI joints. But that's really, really nice, and it's especially good for a horse that's his age. And that's what happens when they bite. And the reason that you do that is because if they're in their herd and they bite another horse, that horse will turn around and bite them, kick them, all kinds of stuff. And you have to think like you're in a herd when you're dealing with the horse. They're not pets, they're not dogs, and you need to discipline them just like they would get disciplined if they were in the herd. Yeah, see, so now he's a little head shy, which is fine, which means he's not going to try to bite me again. But you can't let horses get away with it. They're way too big. They can be way too dominant. And if you let them get away with it, they'll be even more aggressive the next time. That's a good boy. Yeah, nice release there. And I don't hold that against them. I don't take anything personally that they do. They're animals, and that's how they communicate and protect themselves. He's still a good boy, but oftentimes they'll test you, and you cannot let him get away with that stuff. And see, now because he did that, I'm not letting him bring his head over towards me or put his face on me or anything like that. So, hey, welcome from the Philippines. Thank you for watching. Awesome. Sabra or Sabra. They are one of my favorite animals too. I love horses and dogs. They're super special animals. Oh, thanks, Shirley. Appreciate it. Thanks for the comments, guys. I love how people enjoy the content and enjoy what I do for a living. So he struggles a little bit going around to that right shoulder. Let's check the left shoulder. Yeah, so you can see how much farther he goes around to his left. But when I ask him to come around to the right, oh, that's quite a bit better there. So if you notice that your horses are stiff in the neck, you can do these pressure points that are in the shoulders and get them to come around and touch where you're pushing, which is the goal. And if you just go back and forth, a lot of the times, you go to the left and to the right, and you just go back and forth a couple of times. Oh, there we go. A lot of the times they'll loosen themselves up by bringing their head around. And if you do the pressure points and you hear some releases, some audible pops, then what I would suggest is just to go back and forth again one more time, both sides, so that you can make sure that he's free and clear. Oh, there we go. Because every time you do those pressure points, if you get a pop, you just loosened up one of the facet joints, and the facet joints is where the motion occurs in the neck. And if you loosen up one of those facet joints, then they'll be able to rotate farther, and you can get them to move through the lower facet joints even farther, and you can get those to release if they need to. So I just go back and forth until I get no more pops out of the neck. Or if he's stiff in the neck, I'll do it a few times just to try to help him relax and stretch out those muscles. Good boy, good boy. All right, so let's check his pull here. I want to see if he'll come down. There we go. Stropping his neck a little bit. So I'm going to lift him up. You can see he's nice and relaxed. That lip is going there. I'm gonna bring his head up. Oh my goodness. Awesome. Thank you guys for the likes. I really appreciate it. If you haven't liked the video yet, please consider doing so. It helps me out greatly. And if you haven't followed, please do that. I come out with a lot of content, and I try to go live often. I love teaching people about their animals and how they can help their horses. But I appreciate you guys' support very much. Thank you for tuning in to the live. All right, so I'm gonna stretch his leg here. See how he feels. Got some new pretty shiny shoes on. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, that's a good boy. Oh. Hey, hey. Oh, there we go. Nice release in the knee there. Good boy. A little more testy today than he normally is. He normally just sits here and relaxes and enjoys it, but he's a little pissy today. It's a good boy. Hello, love only. Appreciate you coming into the live. Thank you guys very much for watching. Again, if you want to learn how to stretch your horses out, keep them feeling good and performing at their best, check out my website at sporthorsechiropractic.com, and I have a whole video tutorial stretching series there where I show you how to do 25 or 26 stretches for your horses. He's not too happy with this front leg today, but he's okay in the shoulder, bringing it up no problem. But when I try to bring the leg forward, he wants to pull it out of my hands. So I'm gonna see how far he can go comfortably. That's pretty good. So if I can get the shoulder up like this where the humerus is parallel to the ground and he doesn't fight, then the shoulder's fine. It's something in the lower leg, behind the knee, something like that. Let me check this fetlock down here. So fetlock's fine. So something back here behind the knee is bothering him a little bit. So I'll pass that on to the owner. Awesome. Let me get this leg done. There we go. And it looks like he just got his feet done too, so he might be a little sore in his feet, so. There we go, good boy. Whew. So when I'm working on the front legs, you know, whatever leg I have off the ground, they have to take the weight they would normally put on that leg and put it to the other side. And if their feet sore, then they obviously don't want to do that. And you can see he's hesitant to let me do this on both sides. So let me check the back legs, see how he's doing back there. Good boy. Good boy. Let's see. Oh. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, so he's fine lifting up the back legs, but I think his front feet are sore. So I'll let his owner know about that. Good boy. Of course, I moved the camera inside and the dog stopped barking. Murphy's Law, right? Let's see this side. Ooh, a little release in the hock with flexion right there. Ooh, good boy. He feels so good back there, especially for an older horse. All right, let's get his jaw stretched out. See how that TMJ is moving. This pressure point stretch is part of my equine stretching tutorials on my website at sporthorsechiropractic.com. This is a really good stretch to do before you perform or compete on them. And also after you take the bit out of his mouth, just to give him some relief in his TMJs. Good boy. That's really good. Awesome. All right, and that's about all for Corby. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. And I hope to see you on a future live. Thanks for all the likes. Appreciate you guys. And have a wonderful rest of your day.